My dear, you cannot fathom the depth of my emotional burden at this moment. I have been navigating a profound weight, a searing curiosity that evolved into an undeniable presence in my heart. I believed I understood you. Every glance, every laugh, and every nuanced aspect of your being resonated with familiarity and comfort. Yet, a persistent whisper within me urged that there was more to uncover, an uncharted truth awaiting discovery. I tried to dismiss these thoughts as mere overanalysis, convincing myself that love should suffice to silence such doubts. Unfortunately, it did not. Those reflections plagued my sleepless nights as I lay awake, contemplating whether I was enamored with an idealized vision or the authentic you. Ultimately, I acted in ways I had never anticipated. I took your photograph, our photograph, and shared it with someone, not just anyone, but a woman whose insightful gaze penetrates facades. The moment her eyes met yours, an unmistakable chill coursed through me. She remained silent for what felt like an eternity, my heart pounding audibly in my ears. Then she directed her gaze toward me and imparted words that will forever remain etched in my memory. She revealed a truth about you that fundamentally altered my perception, a revelation too significant to be dismissed. This newfound awareness compelled me to reevaluate everything I thought I knew, granting me a raw and unfiltered insight into your essence. I had desired to believe that love was devoid of doubts and that answers would not be sought externally. However, the nuanced blend of caution and assurance in her voice made me realize that there exists an undiscovered dimension of your existence. She articulated, "You bear a history that few could endure. Your present smile is a testament to a victory you fought valiantly to achieve. And that struggle has transformed you, my love." Her words struck a chord deep within me, illuminating the reasons why, at times, your eyes appeared to be holding back tempestuous emotions, as well as the days when you would draw me near yet maintain an invisible barrier between us. I questioned her further, asking whether this truth was negative, something to be feared. She gently shook her head and responded, "It is not about fear, it is about recognizing the truth before time slips away." Now, as I look at you, my perspective has shifted, not with diminished love, but with a profound understanding that perhaps you have been safeguarding me from segments of your narrative out of concern that I might not remain steadfast. My dear, I implore you to hear me when I assert this. I am not departing, but I need you to cease retreating from my embrace. I urge you to unlock that secured chamber within your heart and reveal to me the truths you have concealed. For now, when I hold your hand, I am not merely embracing the individual you are today, I am cradling the echoes of all that you have endured, the silent scars you carry, and the aspirations you have yet to share. And I am prepared to dive deeply into your essence. I am ready to face the flames if that is where your truth resides. However, you must permit me entry, not tomorrow or at some vague point in the future, but now, before the gap between us grows insurmountable. Since that pivotal day, her words have replayed in my mind incessantly, akin to an old film reel stuck on repeat. Each attempt to dismiss them only draws me back, particularly the clarity with which she regarded me. It was not merely her words but the deliberate manner in which she spoke, imbuing each syllable with significant weight. She did not hurl those statements at me like casual gossip. instead, she placed them gently in my hands, fragile and in need of careful handling. She indicated that there exists a facet of you that reveals itself in moments of stillness, when you believe no one is observing. To genuinely grasp your essence, I must be willing to witness you in those unguarded instances. My dear, do you realize the challenge of loving someone so profoundly? To feel them within your very being, yet simultaneously perceive a locked chamber within their heart from which you are barred. Since that moment, I have become increasingly aware of the subtleties in our interactions. The way your gaze diverts when certain periods of your past arise, how your voice modulates with the mention of specific names, and how your hands occasionally quiver when grasping mine a bit too tightly, as if fearing that releasing might cause me to vanish. Previously, I would have considered such behaviors mere idiosyncrasies or aspects of your reserved nature. Yet now, in light of her insights, I recognize them for what they are: signals. Signals that you carry a narrative you struggle to articulate, and that perhaps you have been anticipating proof of my ability to withstand it before unveiling your truth. What unsettles me, my dear, is not solely my lack of knowledge of the complete story, but the unsettling realization that you have been shielding me from it. Not due to mistrust, but from a love so profound that it compels you to protect me from any potential pain. However, this self-protection has simultaneously fostered distance. Each time I sense that invisible barrier, it stings, for I am not solely prepared for the radiant moments. I wish to navigate the storms with you as well, to be present during sleepless nights when the weight of your memories prevents rest. I am here for the mornings when finding the motivation to smile seems insurmountable. I yearn to embrace the authentic, unrefined aspects of your being that the outside world does not witness. That evening, following my encounter with her, I found myself irresistibly drawn to review our old photographs. Each smile, each kiss, each fleeting moment that we had immortalized on film revealed countless layers. Yes, happiness was evident, but so too were underlying depths. At times, your smile seemed to lack penetration in your eyes, while occasions of intimacy saw you holding me close while gazing towards places I could not follow. Such realizations profoundly affected me, as they shed light on the possibility that while I was surrendering to my feelings for you, piece by piece, you might have been withholding aspects of your being from me, not out of indifference, but because you were unsure if I could bear the weight of your reality. Yet, I assure you, I can. I implore you to trust in my capability. I have weathered my own tempests, endured personal heartbreaks, and experienced countless nights engulfed in silence, akin to drowning. Yet here I stand, unequivocally choosing you, day after day. If your truth possesses an unsettling power that may shake me, then let it be so. Should it bear the potential to break me, I invite that too, for I would far rather be shattered by the truth than be lulled by a comforting falsehood. A woman I conversed with that night shared something profound, something I have struggled to articulate until now. She suggested that your greatest fear is not the prospect of losing me, but rather the thought of revealing those deeply buried aspects of yourself, the very facets you might wish to forget. These elements do not define you, yet they linger, haunting you. Consequently, you conceal them, fearing that their revelation would alter my perception of you. If only you realized that those veiled parts would not diminish my love, in fact, they would enhance it. They embody evidence of your resilience, having emerged from trials yet still choosing to embrace love. They signify that despite your scars, you possess the capacity to give abundantly of yourself. They validate your existence as an authentic individual, not an idealized, untouchable fantasy, but a tangible, breathing soul who has fought through life's struggles and persists, prepared to confront each new day. Since that pivotal moment, my dreams of us have transformed. In my reveries, I envision us in a serene setting, free from noise and distraction, encapsulated in each other's presence. With your hand clasped in mine, I perceive no hesitance in your touch. Your gaze meets mine, unclouded and candid. You begin to share everything with me, not hurriedly or in panic, but gradually, as if liberating a burden long held. I listen intently, and as your words cease, a palpable weight lifts from you, rendering you lighter and unburdened, as if the shackles of the past have finally disintegrated. That is the reality I yearn for you to embrace. I aspire to be the sanctuary where your secrets find peace, where your fears dissipate, where love greets your truth with warmth rather than judgment. I am fully aware that the journey ahead will be fraught with challenges. There will undoubtedly be days when you feel compelled to retreat, when the prospect of vulnerability appears daunting. But I assure you, my beloved, that I will not falter. Not in times of difficulty, not when the weight feels unbearable, and certainly not when the truth looms larger than we are. Loving you extends beyond merely embracing the easy parts. It encompasses remaining steadfast, with open hands, ready to receive all facets of your being, whether they be exquisite or flawed, labeling it all as part of our shared experience. Therefore, my dear, when you find the courage, I urge you to let me in. The woman was correct about one thing: truth finds a way to emerge, regardless of our readiness. I would much prefer to confront it while holding your hand than learn of it from another source. I wish to hear it resonate in your voice, see it reflected in your eyes, and feel it in the grip of your fingers entwined with mine. That, I believe, is the only means by which we can endure whatever comes our way. However, there is something else I must share about that night. Following her words, my return home was not uneventful. I wandered for hours, my phone buzzing with messages I could not bring myself to answer. Although the streets felt deserted, my thoughts were tumultuous. Each statement she made echoed in my mind, akin to stones dropping into a tranquil pond, sending ripples to depths I had never known existed within me. I pondered, what did she mean when she suggested that the person you believe you love is not your complete self? Was this a cautionary note or a revelation? If it was a revelation, what door might it open? I recall passing the cafe where our first earnest conversation transpired. Not just trivial exchanges, but the significant moment you revealed the depths of your betrayal, the trembling of your voice, your gaze cast downward instead of meeting mine. That was when I first understood that your pain shadowed you, always present, even when unnoticed by others. In that moment, I vowed not to add to your burdens. Yet, now I am left questioning whether I have unknowingly contributed to that weight. As I continued my walk, I strolled past the quaint bookstore you cherish, with its dusty shelves and the proprietor who remembers your name. I was tempted to enter, seeking a semblance of your presence. Still, I halted upon realizing that physical proximity does not equate to emotional intimacy. I have clasped your hand countless times and shared innumerable kisses, yet if a part of you remains shrouded in secrecy, a chasm still separates us that no mere touch can bridge. That is the divide I yearn to overcome. By the time I arrived home, the sky commenced its transition to the soft hues of dawn. I perched on the edge of my bed, staring at my phone, contemplating reaching out to you. I longed to hear your voice, to directly inquire about the truths you guard, but a deeper instinct advised against it. Not out of fear of your response, but rather because I recognize the importance of your feeling secure enough to share. You must trust that when you offer me your truth, I will not cast it aside in anger or allow it to alter my perception, except perhaps to deepen my love for you. However, here's the pressing question: how long shall we linger before the weight of unspoken truths eclipses the secrets themselves? At what point does silence morph into an insurmountable wall? I have witnessed the outcome before: relationships deeply entwined torn asunder by an unwillingness to voice the crucial words. I refuse to let us become another cautionary tale. I refuse to look back years from now and realize that we had an opportunity to truly know one another and allowed it to slip away. That may explain why I have begun to observe you more acutely. I have noticed how your smile briefly falters when I utter "forever," as though a part of you desires to embrace it while another part clings to the notion that nothing lasts. I have perceived how, in slumber, you pull me closer, as if fearful I might dissipate come morning. I have observed those moments, when you believe I am not watching, where your eyes glaze over, as if gazing into a room within your mind, gazing at something visible solely to you. I long to accompany you there. I wish to stand by your side and assure you, you are no longer alone. Whatever it is you carry, I am here. Truly, my love, I have glimpsed the fragments of the person you believe you are concealing from me, those subtle fractures in your facade. In those fleeting moments when your defenses falter, I catch sight of the hurt, the fear, and the yearning you strive so hard to conceal. These revelations do not terrify me, rather, they inspire me to hold you closer. You inspire me to embrace every aspect of you, each joy and each scar, so that you no longer have to bear it all in solitude. Thus, it is vital for you to grasp an important truth: love transcends merely cherishing the easily lovable facets of a person. It extends to the frightening parts, the ones that might drive someone away. It means examining the entirety of someone and affirming, I still choose you. And I do, every time. I choose you in times of ease and clarity, and I choose you in moments of darkness and uncertainty. However, I cannot continue to choose you if you do not allow me to perceive the full spectrum of who you are. I cannot promise to weather your storms if you do not inform me of their approach. I comprehend that you have endeavored to shield me from burdens you believe I may not withstand, but you misjudge me. The only thing I cannot bear is the thought of losing you because we were too frightened to share our truths. Therefore, let me communicate this: when you are ready, I am here, prepared to listen to whatever you need to convey. I will stand by you, no matter your past. I desire to love not just the version of you that you share with the world, the smiling facade, but also the version that sheds tears in solitude, that carries invisible scars, and struggles to find tranquility. That is the essence of you that I yearn to know, to cherish, to protect, and to champion. So here it is, the truth I have been cautiously navigating around, a truth that gnaws at my heart each time I gaze into your eyes. I have not been entirely forthcoming with you. While my affection for you has always been genuine, I have concealed aspects of my true self, particularly in private moments. You have witnessed the man who sends you cheerful morning texts and lightens your spirit. You've experienced the man who comforts you at night with promises in gentle kisses. Yet, you remain unaware of the man who trembles at the thought that you might deem him unworthy. Prior to our relationship, I constructed a facade, embodying who others desired me to be, self-assured, charming, invulnerable. I could enter any space and leave others convinced of my composure. Beneath this exterior, however, lurked chaos. I was fractured in ways that I had never allowed anyone to examine. Old wounds remained untold, hidden behind a veil of composure. I feared that revealing my scars might change how you perceive me, so I concealed them, along with my moments of selfishness, my fears, and the times I distanced myself from those I cherished out of an inability to commit. I left unspoken the instances when I negligently misused trust or allowed pride to hinder my apologies. Some of these imperfections have intertwined with our experiences too. You view me as unwavering and knowledgeable, but countless nights I have sat in silence, pondering whether I even deserve you, and whether you might be better off without me. It pains me that I have allowed you to believe in my certainty regarding us when, in reality, I have been anxious. You mean more to me than anyone else has ever done, and that notion terrifies me because it also signifies that you could inflict the deepest hurt. But here lies the crucial part, dear one. I am through with hiding. I refuse to let fear dictate how intimately I allow you to get to know me. Each glance at you unveils a realization that I have never encountered with anyone else. I would rather risk losing you through honesty than maintain a relationship founded on deceit. Thus, I present to you the unfiltered, unmasked truth, flawed, chaotic, and imperfect yet irrevocably and undeniably devoted to you. If you can embrace me, aware of every truth I have just shared, I assure you that I will never give you cause to question my heart again. You have not truly known me until now, and I hope that this authenticity compels you to stay rather than retreat. In that moment when I spoke these words, the atmosphere shifted between us, laden with the weight of everything I had previously concealed. My chest tightened, not from regret, but because I was painfully aware that the ensuing silence was yours to break. I was uncertain whether it would reverberate with forgiveness or farewell. You cannot fathom how often I replayed this moment in my mind, anticipating the worst outcomes, dreading that my truth would dismantle what we have built. People may proclaim their desire for honesty, yet when it arrives, they often discover its harsh realities, capable of cutting deeper than any lie. I have been reluctant to allow you to bleed because of me. Yet now, I cannot evade the fundamental truth. You deserve to know the man who holds your heart, not the sanitized version but the authentic persona that is sometimes shattered. I notice the way you look at me now, your eyes searching not for the man you thought I was but for the one standing before you presently. I feel apprehensive that you may not find him worthy of your affection. However, a braver part of me hopes that you will see him more clearly than anyone else ever could. You have always possessed the ability to look beyond appearances, to recognize the silent battles I wage, even when I present a facade of well-being. Perhaps this, finally, is the moment I cease pretending altogether. You cannot imagine how exhausting it has been to live this dual existence, to smile when I felt like breaking, to declare I was fine when my heart was ablaze, to feign control while feeling submerged. The most agonizing aspect was knowing that while you loved me for the man I elected to reveal, you were deprived of the chance to embrace the man I genuinely am. This is why this moment holds such weight. Every component of my being, each flaw, regret, and scar, is now laid bare. I do not hide behind carefully crafted phrases or perfect timing. I present to you my untamed truth, even if it may lead you to decide that I am not what you desire anymore. Nevertheless, if you remain, if after everything I have divulged, you still choose me, I promise this will be the last instance in which fear influences my honesty with you. I will fight for us with every ounce of my being, not solely the parts that are simple to love. I will let you witness the tempests as well as the sunny days. I will uphold sincerity even in discomfort because the love I hold for you warrants authenticity. You deserve a love that is unafraid to unveil the truth. I cannot predict your response to all of this. I do not know whether you will embrace me or walk away. But I am certain of one thing: it was imperative for you to know me wholly. If revealing all parts of myself is what it takes to genuinely love you as you deserve, then it is a risk worth taking, no matter the tears, the fears, or the uncertainties. Even if you choose to turn and walk away, you will carry with you the one thing I have never revealed to anyone else: my truth. Your silence, my dear, is profoundly impactful. Each moment you remain quiet resonates within me, stretching time to a point of near unbearable tension. I can see the struggle in your eyes, caught between the impulse to flee from what you've just learned and the desire to move closer to the truth you have been presented with. Your lips part momentarily, seemingly ready to voice something, but they close again. That hesitation runs deeper than any words could convey. I cannot fault you. I have laid an unexpected burden at your feet, leaving you to decide whether to share this weight with me or abandon it entirely. In this stillness, I find myself reflecting on our shared moments, where I believed I was safeguarding you by concealing parts of myself. Those late-night conversations where I shared half-truths, those quiet mornings filled with my smiles while I suppressed my pain, I thought I was shielding you from my turmoil. However, I now recognize that I was, in fact, safeguarding myself from the prospect of losing you. This realization stings, for if I had trusted you sooner, if I had allowed you to see my authentic self from the start, perhaps we would be even stronger now. Or perhaps you would have chosen to walk away then, and I wouldn't be standing before you now, my heart exposed. I notice you take a slight step back, not far, just enough to create some space between us. It feels as though the ground is shifting beneath me. My chest tightens with fear that this distance will grow until you are unreachable. Yet, for a fleeting moment, your eyes soften. I catch a glimpse of the love that persists, struggling amidst confusion and hurt. That is the part of you I am clinging to, the part that once said, "I am not afraid of your darkness as long as you let me see the light." Those words echo in my mind like a lifeline, reminding me that perhaps this is not the conclusion. Yet, I understand that this moment cannot be hurried. Trust is not re-established with a single revelation, nor does love mend with one apology. This will require time, time for you to process, time for me to demonstrate that every word I have spoken tonight is a promise I intend to uphold. I want you to understand that no matter your decision, I will not flee from you anymore. I will no longer hide behind excuses or barriers. If you ask me a question, I will respond, even if it terrifies me. If you need space, I will grant it, even if it pains me. Should you still choose to love me after this, I will never take that for granted again. Perhaps I stand before you not as the man I appeared to be, but as the man I truly am, flawed, scarred, and imperfect, yet willing to fight for you in the ways I should have from the beginning. Maybe that is what genuine love means, not perfection, but the courage to be fully seen and still remain. I am uncertain whether tonight will tear us apart or strengthen our bond. What I do know is this: would prefer to risk losing you by revealing the truth than to retain you with a falsehood. And if you can still gaze upon me and claim me as yours after all this, then I will understand that what we possess transcends mere love. It is unshakable, unbreakable, and worth every struggle we undertook to achieve it. Yes, your present silence speaks volumes, more piercing than any words you could direct toward me, and it cuts deep. You stand there, your gaze fixed upon mine, as if attempting to discern whether everything you believed about me was merely a dream from which you need to awaken or a nightmare from which you cannot escape. I see it, the multitude of thoughts racing through your mind. A part of you longs to confront me, to demand answers about why I kept this from you, why I allowed our love to build upon a foundation riddled with concealed flaws. Yet another part of you hesitates, fearing what more I might reveal if you fully open that door. I can almost sense the memories coursing through you, the laughter that left our cheeks aching, the way I would draw you close in the middle of the night as if afraid you would vanish, the times I promised that I was yours forever while hiding the doubt within me that I even deserved to claim you as mine. I need you to understand that those moments were entirely genuine. Every kiss, every touch, every whispered declaration of love was real, yet intertwined with fear, as I struggled to believe that you would remain after knowing my complete truth. Now, I see your eyes shimmer slightly, holding back tears you may not wish for me to witness, yet I notice, I always do. For a brief moment, I wonder if those tears are not solely from pain, but indicative of the love still residing within you, even if it is currently obscured by hurt. That is why I remain here, neither advancing nor retreating. If I misstep, I risk losing you completely. The weight of this moment bears down on us both. My hands tremble, not from the fear of your anger but from the dread of having already lost the one person who has ever made me feel worthy of love. I long to reach for you, to envelop you in my arms and vow that, regardless of how chaotic my truth may be, I have ceased to hide. However, I recognize that I must earn that moment back. I am not seeking your forgiveness at this moment. I am asking you to truly see me, not the version of myself I believed you desired, but the flawed, raw man standing before you, frightened yet resolute because losing you is far more daunting than exposing my true self. I understand that I should have been honest from the very beginning. I should have allowed you to explore the darker corners of my heart instead of confining you to the light, believing it was the safer choice. I should have trusted your love sufficiently to think it could withstand the truth. If you remain here tomorrow, if you still respond when I reach out, if you continue to look at me without averting your gaze, I promise I will dedicate every single day to proving that the man you see now, the unfiltered, unpolished, unguarded man, is worthy of your love. Even if I must combat every doubt you harbor, even if I must reconstruct each trust brick I have broken, I will do so. Because I would prefer to stand here with my soul laid bare and risk losing you than to live another day behind a falsehood that prevents me from being wholly yours. If you come to me, let it be like a gradual unfolding, one step at a time. Your eyes continue to search mine, as if flipping through versions of me that have never presented the full truth. What you witness is the shattered remnants of your dreams, touched by a reality that was not fully disclosed. When you take a small step back, I feel it deeply. It's more than physical distance. It feels as if you have withdrawn from my heart. My hands twitch at my sides, yearning to close that gap, but I realize that if I attempt to do so prematurely, you may perceive it as an effort to smooth over what has transpired without allowing you to fully process the gravity of it all. You deserve that. You deserve to grasp just how profound this truth runs. I can see our shared memories reflected in your expression, the nights we reveled in conversation until dawn. The way you would nestle against my chest as if you had finally found safety. The way your smile radiated like you had already embraced every facet of my being and cherished me nonetheless. Perhaps that particular realization is what torments me the most in this moment, that you never had the opportunity to love me in all my truth. Yet, your affection was so intense that it forced me into hiding. My voice trembles as I speak because I am not merely sharing my truth, I am offering you a blade, trusting that you will not wound me deeper than I have already inflicted upon myself. I do not expect you to eliminate this pain instantaneously. I simply need you to understand that the person standing before you is my authentic self. No facade, no pretense, just a man frightened of losing you yet more terrified of remaining unknown to you. I notice the tension in your jaw, and I sense that you are restraining every thought you wish to express. I wonder if you hesitate out of fear of causing me pain or if you dread how your voice might sound when unleashed. Even in this darkest hour, amidst my profound mistakes, I cannot cease loving you for this very hesitation, for it signifies you still care enough to pause before hurling your words at me. I inhale deeply, my chest heavy with unspoken feelings, and allow the truth to fall from my lips as if it has long awaited its moment to be voiced. I am not here to plead for your presence. Instead, I am here to finally reveal the truth, allowing you to choose if you wish to remain. Should you decide to leave, at least you would be departing from an authentic version of me, not the constructed identity I fashioned to keep you close. And above all else, I hope you choose to stay. The way you gaze at me now feels as though you are stripping away every layer I have ever tried to conceal. It is both frightening and liberating. Your eyes not only perceive, they pierce, they search, they demand understanding. Despite having evaded this moment for far too long, there is an innate understanding within me that this openness is the only path towards authenticity in our relationship. The unspoken weight hangs between us, thickening the air and making each second of silence feel heavy with 1,000 unasked questions, each capable of either shattering my world or liberating me. My hands clench into fists at my sides, not out of anger, but to suppress the overwhelming urge to reach for you and pull you close before I have truly earned that right again. Do you remember? I begin slowly, my tone low and cautious. I recall the first time I uttered those 3 important words, "I love you." Your lips part slightly, but you remain silent, and I take this as my signal to keep going. We were sprawled across that old couch, half watching a movie neither of us cared about. Amidst our laughter over something trivial, it dawned on me how impossible it would be to live without the sound of your laughter. In a sudden burst, I spoke the words without a plan, without a perfect moment, just pure, reckless honesty. That was the essence of who I was. That was the authentic me. I pause, feeling a tightness in my chest. However, somehow, along the way, I began to hide parts of myself from you, thinking I was protecting you, that I was shielding us. I believed that by concealing my darker aspects, I could fulfill the image of the person you deserved. Yet in doing so, I ceased to be honest, depriving you of the complete truth. Now, as I stand before you, I realize that the person you fell in love with was merely a fragment of me. Your expression does not soften, in fact, it sharpens, and I see you weighing my words against our shared memories. My throat feels parched, but I push on, compelled to share. The truth is, I have been afraid that if you encountered all that I am, the mistakes I have made, the scars I bear, the parts of myself I detest, that you would flee. The mere thought of losing you haunted me far more than the guilt of my deceit. Yet it is this very fear that has led us to this critical juncture, and for that, I am profoundly remorseful. The atmosphere feels colder, or perhaps it is simply the chasm that has formed between us. I observe you adjusting your posture, your arms crossing not in defiance, but as a means of self-protection, a manifestation of the barrier I created. My mind races through the moments when you inquired directly, and I sidestepped the questions. When I obscured truths behind a smile. When I misled myself into thinking my silence was an act of mercy. I take a tentative step toward you, slow, intentional, grappling with the desire to move closer while respecting your space. Should you choose to walk away after this, I would not hold it against you. I would despise it, but I would understand, for it is unfair to love someone who has only given you fragments of themselves. You deserved the entirety of my heart from the very beginning, yet you received the facade of me, crafted to ensure your affection without revealing the full spectrum of my being. I observe the glimmer in your eyes. It is not tears yet, but something deeper that signifies a tumultuous internal struggle. Your heart longs to remember the man who once held you during your darkest times, while your mind urges you to safeguard yourself against the one who concealed truths from you. At this moment, I comprehend that the decision you make is not solely about me. It weighs on whether you can trust in your capacity to love freely, without fear of being hurt. And God, I fervently hope that you can, for the memory of those little fissures that began to form between us continues to haunt me. Cracks I chose to ignore, wishing you wouldn't notice, believing they would heal over time. Yet they only expanded. With each passing day, I reassured myself, tomorrow, I will share the truth. Tomorrow, I will come clean. But tomorrow perpetually eluded me. The longer I delayed, the more burdensome it became. You did not merely fall in love with me, you placed your trust in me. Conversely, I built mine upon the hope that you would never uncover the parts one was too ashamed to confront. I can still recall the first time you gazed at me, suspicion flickering in your eyes, not anger, nor accusation, but a quiet sorrow, as if you sensed me drifting away. We were in the kitchen, and while you recounted your day, my mind was besieged by the truth I was concealing. I believed I was being discreet, that my half-hearted smiles and brief nods were sufficient to convince you of my presence. But you've always had the ability to see me for who I truly was. I can still hear your voice from that night, soft, almost tentative, "Baby, are you okay? You seem different." In that moment, I yearned to pour everything out, to pull you in and reveal all. Yet instead, I kissed your forehead, claimed I was merely tired, and vowed to improve by morning. That was the night I began to lose you, although I was blissfully unaware at the time. There are countless nights when I lie awake, replaying each moment I hesitated to tell you the truth. Like that time you asked why I never introduced you to certain people from my past or questioned the aspects of my life I kept hidden from you. I had a multitude of excuses ready, each one finely tuned and so thoroughly rehearsed that I began to believe them myself. Yet in your grace, you chose to trust me, not because my fabrications were compelling, but because your love granted me the benefit of the doubt. I embraced that love, using it as a protective barrier. What I failed to grasp at the time was that love devoid of truth ultimately crumbles to nothing. You once said to me, "I need not your perfection, only your honesty." I smiled, but inside, I was filled with dread. I realized that honesty would reveal the scars I had spent a lifetime concealing. What if that revelation rendered you incapable of loving me? I recently came to understand something significant. When you genuinely love someone, you embrace their scars too. You accept the jagged edges, the messy realities, and the aspects that do not align seamlessly with the narrative we've created together. By concealing my truths, I deprived you of the opportunity to love all of me fully. I remember how you would touch my face when I fell silent for too long, brushing your thumb across my cheek, seemingly searching for words I couldn't articulate. I would close my eyes, lean into your hand, and momentarily convince myself that perhaps you already understood, and perhaps it didn't matter. But it always did. I wish I could return to those moments, to make different choices. I wish I could trade the silence for confessions, the half-hearted smiles for authentic tears, the distance for the closeness you deserved, coupled with the truths I have been concealing. This is not solely about my actions, it reflects my very essence. The person you fell in love with was not the entirety of me, it was an iteration I believed you could accept without leading to pain. Yet, I now recognize that true love does not entail safeguarding someone from the truth, it requires trusting them enough to reveal it, even when it is unappealing. If this moment drives you away, I will understand. However, if a part of you yearns to know the real me, I will dedicate my life to showing you. No more fabrications, no more barriers, simply me. There is a profound impact in carrying unspoken words. They reside within you like an incessant echo, reverberating through every thought, memory, and dream until they become overwhelming. I have harbored this echo for so long that I nearly forgot the sensation of silence untainted by guilt. You didn't merely love me, you entrusted me with a level of vulnerability few dare to exhibit. Regrettably, I responded with only half-truths. I thought if I could maintain this facade long enough, perhaps we both could survive without you uncovering the fractures within me. But life does not function that way, the truth invariably resurfaces, regardless of how deeply it is buried. I now confront it. It is right before me, and I can no longer suppress it. Do you recall that night? The one where you gently took my hand beneath the table, amidst a gathering of cheerful faces, yet your gaze was unwaveringly focused on mine, searching for me, truly searching. I responded by squeezing your hand, attempting to provide comfort, all the while battling an inner scream. I was petrified that you were already piecing together the reality that the version of me you knew was beginning to fade. I have constructed my life as a meticulously crafted narrative, concealing chapters from you. I have torn out and discarded pages that did not conform to the story I wished you to believe. I misguidedly convinced myself that I did so to shield you from the darkness that has shaped me. The stark reality is that I was protecting my own fears. If you were to discover the complete truth, you might choose to leave. That notion, your presence, became my singular focus. I think back to those mornings when you would awaken before me, quietly moving around the kitchen, preparing coffee just the way I enjoy it. I would feign sleep, watching you as light danced in your hair, your lips curling into that slight smile at a joyful thought. I found myself pondering, how could I ever risk losing this? How could I risk losing you? Thus, I remained silent. But the toll of silence erodes the bond between two souls. It transforms every kiss into an inquiry and every embrace into a desperate search for reassurance, and I recognized this shift in our relationship. I observed how your laughter began to wane in my presence, how your eyes sought answers in places I was unwilling to let you explore. I despise myself for permitting it to reach that point. Perhaps I am cowardly for waiting until now to address these truths. Perhaps I am selfish for requiring this moment to unfold on my terms rather than when you needed it the most. But here I stand, entirely exposed, no longer cloaked in charm or half-truths. This is the version of me that I have long feared to unveil. I am not the hero of your imagination, nor am I the man who invariably chooses wisely, standing unblemished in the light. I have committed errors. I have lied for the sake of survival. I have betrayed those I cared for. It is difficult to convey the exhaustion I have experienced while living this dual life, forcing smiles during moments of despair, insisting that I was well while my heart burned within, and pretending to be in control while feeling utterly overwhelmed. The most painful truth is that, although you loved the version of me I chose to show you, you were denied the opportunity to embrace the person I truly am. This is why this moment is so significant. Every part of me, including my flaws, regrets, and scars, is now fully exposed. I no longer hide behind carefully chosen words or the notion of perfect timing. I present to you my unfiltered truth, even if it means you might decide I am no longer what you wish for. Yet, should you choose to stay with me, despite everything I have revealed today, I promise that this will be the last time fear dictates my honesty with you. I am committed to fighting for us with every fiber of my being, not merely the easier aspects that you might love. I will allow you to witness my struggles along with my brighter days. I will strive for authenticity, even when it proves uncomfortable, because the love I hold for you deserves nothing less than genuine openness. You deserve a love that is brave enough to show its truths. I cannot foresee your reaction. I do not know if you will embrace me or choose to walk away. However, I am confident of one truth: it is essential for you to truly know me. If uncovering all aspects of myself is what it takes to love you in the way you deserve, then I am willing to take that risk, regardless of the tears, fears, or uncertainties that may accompany it. Even if you decide to turn away, you will carry with you what I have never shared with anyone else, my deepest truth. Your silence, dear one, has a profound impact. Each moment of your quietness resonates through me, stretching time to a near breaking point. I can see the turmoil in your eyes, caught between the urge to escape from what I have just disclosed and the desire to step closer to the truth laid before you. Your lips part momentarily, seemingly ready to voice something, but then they close once more. That hesitation runs deeper than any words could express. I cannot blame you. I have placed an unexpected burden on your shoulders, leaving you to decide whether to bear this weight with me or leave it entirely behind. In this stillness, I find myself reflecting on our time together, believing I was protecting you by withholding aspects of my own self. Those late-night conversations filled with half-truths, those quiet mornings during which I smiled while concealing my own pain. I thought I was shielding you from my chaos. Yet now, I realize that I was, in essence, protecting myself from the fear of losing you. This revelation stings, as I wonder if I had trusted you earlier. If I had revealed my true self from the beginning, perhaps we would be even stronger now. Or maybe you would have chosen to walk away then, and I wouldn't be standing before you now, my heart laid bare. I observe you take a slight step back, not far, just enough to create some distance between us. It feels as if the ground shifts beneath me. A wave of fear washes over me that this distance might grow until you become unreachable. Yet, for a fleeting moment, your eyes soften. I catch a glimpse of the love that still persists, despite the confusion and pain. That is the part of you I am desperately holding on to, the part that once said, "I am not afraid of your darkness as long as you let me see the light." Those words echo in my mind like a lifeline, reminding me that perhaps this is not the end. Still, I know that trust cannot be rebuilt in a single moment. Love does not mend with one act of contrition. This journey will demand time, time for you to process, time for me to show you that every word uttered tonight is a promise I aim to honor. I want you to grasp that regardless of your decision, I will not retreat from you any longer. I will no longer conceal myself behind excuses or barriers. If you pose a question, I will answer it, no matter how fearful it makes me. If you require space, I will respect that, even if it pains me. If you choose to love me after all this, I will never take it for granted again. Perhaps I stand before you not as the man I seem to be, but as the man I truly am, flawed, marked by experience, and imperfect, yet ready to fight for you in ways I should have from the start. Maybe that is what true love signifies, not perfection, but the bravery to be completely seen and still remain. I am uncertain whether tonight will drive us apart or bring us closer. What I do understand is this: I would rather risk losing you by revealing my truth than keep you under a veil of deception. If you can still look at me and accept me as yours after all this, I will recognize that what we share surpasses mere affection. It is steadfast, indestructible, and worth every challenge we face to attain it. Indeed, your current silence conveys volumes, cutting deeper than any spoken words could reach. You stand before me, your gaze locked with mine, as if trying to discern whether all you believed about me was merely a dream from which you need to awaken or a nightmare from which you cannot escape. I perceive it, the torrent of thoughts racing within you. Part of you yearns to confront me, to demand answers for why I concealed these parts of myself from you, why I allowed our love to flourish upon a shaky foundation of hidden flaws. Yet, another part hesitates, fearing what more I might reveal should you fully open that door. I can almost feel the memories surging through you, the laughter that left us breathless, the way I drew you close in the night, fearful that you would disappear, the promises I made of lasting devotion while grappling with my own feelings of unworthiness. I need you to know that those moments were genuine. Every kiss, every touch, every whispered pledge of love was sincere, intertwined with fear, as I struggled with the belief that you would stay after learning my complete truth. Now, I see your eyes glisten slightly, holding back tears that you may wish to hide from me, yet I notice, I always do. For a fleeting moment, I wonder if those tears stem not only from pain but also from the remnants of love that still dwell within you, even if currently overshadowed by hurt. That is why I remain here, neither pushing forward nor retreating. If I falter, I risk losing you entirely. The gravity of this moment weighs heavily on both of us. My hands quiver, not from fearing your anger but from the dread of having lost the one person who has ever made me feel deserving of love. I long to reach out, to pull you into my embrace and vow that, despite how tumultuous my truth may be, I have stopped hiding. However, I understand that I must earn that moment back. I do not seek your forgiveness in this instant. I ask you to truly see me, not the version I thought you wanted, but the raw, flawed man standing before you, afraid yet firmly resolved, for losing you is far more terrifying than revealing my authentic self. I recognize that I should have been forthcoming from the very beginning. I should have allowed you to explore the shadows within my heart instead of confining you to the light, believing it to be the safer path. I should have had faith in your love, believing it could endure the truth. If you remain here tomorrow, if you still respond when I reach out, if you continue to look at me without averting your gaze, I promise to devote every single day to proving that the man you see before you, the unguarded, imperfect, and raw individual, is indeed worthy of your love. I have shunned moments when I should have stood resolute. Despite my efforts to conceal my past, it resides within me, it is an intrinsic part of who I am. But what I must convey to you is this: none of it alters my love for you. None of it alters the way my heart yearns for you in every room, every crowd, and every moment I am alive. The aspects of me I kept hidden were not intended to distance you, rather, they were meant to keep you close. In attempting to shield you, I risked losing you entirely. If you decide to walk away after hearing this, I will not pursue you. Not because I lack the desire, but because you deserve the choice that I should have provided from the very beginning. Conversely, if you choose to remain, if you decide to stay even after learning the entirety of who I am, then I will dedicate each day to proving that your decision was not a mistake. My love, you are unaware of how many times I have teetered on the brink of revealing everything. The words would rise like flames in my throat, yearning for release. I would gaze into your eyes, filled with trust, and freeze. My voice would betray me, and instead of unveiling the truth, would share something gentler, more palatable. I told myself this was an act of mercy. But beneath the surface, fear simmered, fear that if you witnessed me in my raw form, you would turn away and never look back. Recall that moment in the car? As rain tapped rhythmically against the windshield and you inquired where my mind wandered when I became quiet. I laughed it off, kissed your hand, and claimed exhaustion. The truth was, I was replaying scenes I wished to keep hidden, nights of choices that left their stains on my soul, moments where I betrayed my own integrity and those I vowed to protect. I believed that if I carried that burden alone, it would vanish. It did not. It shadowed every smile, every touch, and every expression of love I shared with you. The most arduous challenge lies not in the act of confessing, but in the realization that the person you cherish never truly knew you, that they fell in love with a mere reflection rather than the man standing before them. The guilt does not merely settle within your chest, it saturates your very being, infiltrating the way you breathe, the way you dream. Even in slumber, I would hear your voice calling out to me, awakening me in a panic because deep down, I understood that one day you would uncover the truth. Now, it seems, you may already sense it. You have been observing me differently, your inquiry sharper, and your silences heavier. I sense your desire to unravel the tightly held threads of my facade. A part of me, deep down, wishes you would pull harder. The weight of this act has worn me thin. I am weary, my dear. Weary of concealing my true self. Weary of putting on a performance. Weary of presenting a version of myself that has never been complete. The reality I hide is not neat or romantic, it is raw and jagged, capable of inflicting pain on us both. Yet, you have the right to witness the scars beneath the surface I allow the world to admire. You deserve the unvarnished truth that I have fled from, which is this: I have misrepresented who I am. Not in every respect. My love for you is genuine, and my aspirations for us have never been false. However, the history I allowed you to believe is incomplete. There are individuals who would recount tales of my past that would leave you perplexed, some true, some distorted, but all containing fragments of a man you have yet to meet. I am not asking for forgiveness at this moment. I am seeking to know if you still wish to understand me, even after realizing that our foundation is built on half-truths. Because if you do, I am ready to fully reveal my past, every page, every memory, every error, without editing or concealment. Just me, broken and flawed, yet finally candid. And if you choose to remain after this revelation, I promise to never again cause you to doubt my identity. Perhaps. I have lingered on the precipice for far too long, fearing that once these words are uttered, everything between us could fracture. Nonetheless, I can no longer keep you in ignorance. You deserve to know the genuine truth, from its unpolished edges to its raw core. When I speak this truth, I do so not to harm you, but to finally provide what you should have received from the very start. The truth is, I am not the man you envisioned. I am not the flawless, unwavering figure you might have believed I was. I have played the antagonist in someone else's narrative. I have made choices that shattered trust, ventured down paths I vowed never to tread, and turned my back on those who depended on me. I have harbored secrets that haunted my nights, knowing that were you to discover them, you might never view me the same way again. There were nights I gazed at you as you slept peacefully beside me, a gentle breath attesting to a seemingly safe world, and I thought, if you ever truly knew me, if you ever perceived me as I see myself, you would leave. So, I concealed the truths, providing only fragments, enough to keep you near but not enough to liberate you. That, my dear, is the cruelest act I have committed, denying you the choice to love me, knowing all of me. The reality is, I have been fleeing from my past, my guilt, from the reflection in the mirror. However, when I am with you, I cannot run as swiftly. You compel me to confront the parts of myself I wish to bury. You have fallen for a man clad in armor, but beneath it lies a multitude of scars I hesitated to reveal. I recognize that this revelation may alter everything. You might pull away, or you might determine that the man I am is unworthy of your affection. Yet, I had to take this risk, for I can no longer endure another day wherein you love a version of me that has ceased to exist. Should you choose to walk away, I would understand and accept that I deserved it. However, if you remain, if you choose to stay, I shall devote the rest of my life to unveiling the man I aspire to be, the man who does not hide, who does not flee, and who not allows fear to dictate the closeness of our bond. You have always deserved the complete truth, and now you possess it. The decision is yours: stay, and together we can rebuild with transparency, or depart, and I will reckon with the knowledge that I lost you because I waited too long to reveal my authentic self. Before I conclude, I wish to express that if you have engaged with these words, your time and presence hold immeasurable value to me. If this resonates with you, if it has touched your heart, consider showing your support. It is not just a number to me, it is a lifeline. Every gesture, every ounce of encouragement fuels my creativity and my desire to continue sharing. This narrative is not merely a story, it is my truth.